We are going to mention our sponsor and our strong partner this week, Gary's Name Changing Store. That's Gary's Name Changing Store. When you need to change your name, speak to Gary.
Do you have a name? Is it the name you didn't want? Want to change it? Well, now you can with Gary's Name Change Store. Hundreds of people like you have changed their name all thanks to Gary, helping them feel more like the name they should have had. I always felt like I was a Toby, but I was born a Peter. Robert just never suited me. Now I'm Henry.
I go to the gym twice a day. I always lied and told people my name was Trevor, when really it was Ian. But now I don't have to lie anymore, and my name now is actually Trevor for real.
This affordable change allows you to choose from names within your price plan. Isn't it time you started feeling like the name you should have had? Change your name to a name you wish you had.
Let's start by talking about Cardiff.
Go, lads! Hit lads! Hit lads over the top!
It was nice to see them score. It was a bit worrying that they looked a bit frail at the back at times.
Oh, Arsenal?
No,
Cardiff.
with Cardiff.
Yeah.
Because they look so strong.
It's the first time they've been
haven't they,
rumbled, but I think that is down to the quality of the
They've
attack,
looked so
how they're being pushed. That's the first time against a huge team that they've actually been tested, and I thought they did really well.
Yeah, they did really well.
That resilience at the back is still there. However, they were a bit disrupted, and it's all from exactly what I said when I first saw him against Newcastle. Etheridge, he is a great goalkeeper, and he's had a hell of a start. However, it really concerns me how the back line aren't talking to him, and he's not communicating with them. Yeah. There are moments in that game where he should have claimed it, huge big claim, and dominate your area more. Yeah. He just didn't do it. So that's they're going to get caught out there, because you can't have a Premiership defence with no communication.
Banter.
They looked a bit frail at the back, but yeah, okay, they came up against an Arsenal side. We've got a very good attack, but just moving on to Arsenal briefly.
Okay, because I've got a little rant.
Is it worrying at Arsenal that the same problems that we've thought were there for... So, you blame Wenger because you heard he wasn't a coach. And if they bring a coach in, he'll coach him out of it.
They actually struggled in midfield because they don't offer any real protection for the defence.
No, they don't.
It seems like they're singular to that system, but you have to play it as a system. You have to back each other, and that's the way it works. Yeah. So I feel like there was something was missing there completely. Well, on the whole, because it's a new system, it's Unai Emery's system in place, and that is with playing at the back and keeping possession, because that is a very maintainable system to work for numerous different reasons. Like they're not the first. I know Chelsea adapt to that as well, but that's a new system to play to keep that. Do you know what? It just doesn't work for Arsenal because of Petr Cech. Now I'm a fond supporter of Petr Cech.
I said this when we
we did, and
when Petr Cech was after the first game of the season. When Petr Cech, I said at the time, why are you asking Petr Cech to try and play out from the back? So when you've got Bernd Leno on the bench,
totally
we're a
get
couple
it.
of games in now, and it's like Cech is not understanding how to be the keeper you want him to be.
Cech is trying his best.
He's
is doing those. But I've figured out the problem here. I've totally figured it out. I can't wait to hear.
Perfect reality, just like me.
Because that's Unai Emery's new system to play out from the back. Petr Cech has been training in order to do those things. He can't do those things because that's not his skill set. He is now considered an old school goalkeeper in a modern world. The goalkeeping situation has transformed and pushed itself on and is evolved and is formed into like Alisson, is like Edison, those type of goalkeepers, like Keylor Navas is like another that example of a player. You especially get that with the success, especially with Man City last year. Edison really proven himself. That's his second season going in, and that's one of the reasons why Liverpool have invested in Alisson, because he can do that. And guess what? Arsenal have got that in the ranks with Leno. Like I said in the first place, when I was in defence of Petr Cech, who looks so much more focused and so much more on it. And like in terms of that's what he wants. This is going to be his bow out of professional football. What you get is he is that wonderful goalkeeper, and it's just a step too far for him because of the evolution.
Sometimes
because he's doing all he
player,
can, totally all he can.
You can convert an outfield player and try and get him to play out of position, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's but with goalkeepers, getting a 36-year-old goalkeeper to try and change the way that he plays football. A lot of me thinks, well, it's not Czech's fault that he's been asked to do.
And that's no slight on his goalkeeping ability. However, I've figured it out.
Slope.
But I still don't agree with that. At this level, that new form of goalkeeper, it has taken over, and Czech is just he's just there of his time, and you can clearly see it in the transition of how football is. Now you saw with Cardiff City, and you see anyone who face Arsenal now is guess what? They're going to make maximum effort to push on that goalkeeper. They're going to make maximum effort to push that, and it worked again. And that's what Cardiff City was very good on their attack and their knowledge of how where they
Route 1 with Cardiff. We said that last week because they know where Arsenal's frailties are.
Let's demand it!
West Ham, hot garbage.
Tell them, Les! Well, you tell them!
If you look at those signings they made, and again, go back because we on a previous podcast, if you want to, before the season started, and we said West Ham signings weren't that good. They've got an engine room of Noble, who seems to have just gone. Just
Noble.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. They brought in Jack Wilshere, who clearly isn't fit. Clearly. I still think he's got a nagging injury.
Yeah, but I think with him is to prolong his career. That's why he made that move, and he's always covering injury. That's the way he's been.
I just think the signings that they've made will take a longer time to gel than maybe they have.
Think there's any way back for Jack?
I'd like to think so. I think he's had, a few good... He should have a few good years left in him, but I think the problem that Jack Wilshere has is that people were expecting him to be like this British Modric, an English Modric. He hasn't actually become that. But that doesn't mean that he's not a very good Premier League footballer. He didn't become the English Modric that you were all expecting in the media and England's next high hope, which he never got to. However, he could be, the equivalent of, say, Claudio Marchisio. He's English as Claudio Marchisio.
Come on now, let's use
Claudio Marchisio.
Let's not get carried away.
The crap can't see you! I didn't let them know!
Traore, what a player to have on the bench.
Unbelievable. He's wonderful to watch.
What a player
and
to
he
have
just
available on
bulldozed his way through for that. And he thoroughly deserved that. Even though that was pretty cruel on West Ham. If West Ham had a draw, then you'd be different.
I don't think they deserve the draw, though.
Things I've learned from a Manchester United victory.
If this is some sort of pledge, Jesus, my end-user license agreement forbids it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
For what are the things we learned from Man United victory?
Lukaku.
Yeah, Lukaku.
Great bit of business. Doesn't get the recognition he deserves. And he actually matched Drogba's goals.
In the Premier League?
In the Premier League.
Someone said about Lukaku, and what do you think of him? I said, I think he's a great striker. And they were, he's not another level. Basically, they reckon...
It's the thing that gets our goat. It's got a goat.
Yeah, it was...
Won't give the goat back.
The way he said to me, he was like... he said Arsenal as well, but he said Everton. He's an Everton level. Everton, he said Everton, Arsenal. He was like, he's not... He's a Liverpool fan as well, and he said it's not Real Madrid, Man United, Barcelona, which is where he sees Man United.
Yeah.
He said Lukaku isn't that player. And I said to him, okay, that's fine.
Ridiculous.
I was like, I disagree, but what I would say as well is when we signed Sheringham after Cantona retired, was that a Man United signing? Well, no, it wasn't, but he won us the European Cup in 99, him and Solskjaer. Was Luis Saha a Man United player? No, but he did quite well.
A solid victory for Jose Mourinho's men. Flashing a pair of Christmas boxer shorts and the United man is too busy banging.
I'm going to give you another one. Roberto Martinez. I'm not going to laugh at you, I'm speechless.
That pressure part that Mourinho's created to get that victory got people in like it got to the players, and you saw it with young Rashford squaring up to someone.
For Jose Mourinho's men.
Right, it didn't. I'll say the same that I said for Richarlison. I think it wasn't a red, and I think anyone who watches football, if they'd seen Richarlison squaring up or Rashford squaring up, I think there's not a single person who watches football that if the ref went yellow card, pack it in, wouldn't go, yeah, that's fair enough.
But
they didn't headbutt. I think it's ridiculous wrong.
You think that should have been a yellow card?
Mm-hmm. What I'm
Rashford,
saying...
the way he reacted.
Yeah.
But the kick out as well, which wasn't seen by Button.
Yeah.
That is also another thing.
Imagine what would have happened if VAR was being used in this case. We could just go back to VAR and go, he kicked him.
Gone.
No, but you know,
that'd be
Richarlison, and yes, they squared up. But people are saying the headbutt. He didn't headbutt him. He was squaring up to him.
But
with
it's
his
that
head.
thing, and
If the ref just came over and went, chill out.
We haven't
Yellow
seen
card,
the
yellow
drop into the floor when that happens in terms of simulation. If there is any sort of head-to-head, we haven't seen that
In
yet.
either of them yet.
But that's 2 weeks on the trot. We've seen instances like that.
You're asking yourself for trouble, but what I'm saying is, I think a red for it is too much. I really do.
I think Rashford should have had some chill. I think.
Yeah, but I think a yellow card.
Why is he actually squared it up though? Like you being more lenient to me, and it's in there. That's overly aggressive behaviour, which went 2 ways. I get it.
I just think the ref
Rashford just took it on. Same as the hog headbutt last week against Cardiff. Same thing. Like this, it's unnecessary. If you push like that, there's going face to face, and then there's going like headbutt. It's all alpha male nonsense, anyways. Luke Shaw performing after a leg break. That's all rolled out. I think that's a very clever media point to get him in rotation, to show him actually progressively, okay, he is getting better. But remember, he's done this same thing with Aaron Ramsey, which people should not forget about, because that Luke Shaw leg break was an actual, it was a potential career stopper.
Well, that's the thing. People write off injuries a lot.
And it's a psychological thing because of playing on that, but he's really stepped up his game and he's got over that. And I think Mourinho is responsible for getting over that hurdle. And I'm sure he will definitely be in the England setup going forward, because it's there for him. Because Ashley Young can only do so much, and Fabian Delph can go anywhere.
He's better than Danny Rose.
Yeah,
But
that's a whole other thing. So that rounds up my little Man United thing.
Well, I like that. Let's skip quickly across to Manchester.
All right then. I've just put Sterling
across the city. Yeah, Sterling was very good. This is Man City narrowly beating Newcastle. One thing I would say in defence of Newcastle is their points tally doesn't marry up to how their performances have improved. They were good against Man City and they were good against Chelsea the week before. They were dire when we saw them against Cardiff. They did nothing. But they've actually steadily improving. So I think Newcastle actually deserve a lot of credit.
You haven't even mentioned the Kyle Walker 30.
Kyle Walker scored an absolute belt. StatsBomb released some data and talked about some data. Since Harry Kane's injury with his ankle last season and then return, he's taken less than half the amount of shots that he was previously. Yep. So StatsBomb have Ted Knutson actually said.
StatsBomb, Ted Knutson,
really
StatsBomb.
Good. Get on Ted Knutson. He's actually said that his stats prior to this ankle injury in about March he said they were Lionel Messi, Ronaldo-like stats. He was having average of 9 shots a game. His XG was huge and so on. He said since that injury, he's now, if he was taking on average 9, he's now taking on average 3 shots a game. And they were like, he's not actually scoring that.
Still actually performing though. But
this is the argument that they said. They said he's actually not performing. What he's actually just doing is putting himself to finish the ball, the move off and score. So he was like, he's actually gone from being... I don't necessarily agree, because I've said on record a number of times, I think Harry Kane is a good scorer of goals. I don't think he's a good footballer. I've said it countless times.
Yeah, you have.
So...
Used to write him off before, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I still argue that he's a great goal scorer. However, I don't think he's a great footballer. And what Knutson has said is that his stats actually prior to March were making him seem like a Messi-esque footballer. Yet Son is in from the Asian Games. Yet Son is in from the Asian Games. Yet Son is in from the Asian Games.
And now he doesn't have to do military service.
Do you know what I like about Watford? Dinosaurs. The Hornet mascot and Elton John.
He was very happy.
Elton John was loving it. They've done really well, and they deserve to be thought of in higher regard than they are. I really rate Will Hughes. I think he's a really good footballer.
We'll just hold our horses, yeah?
This throw-in thing with Andy Gray and Richard Keys has wound me up more than anything else this week. Dinosaurs.
So 40 to 50 throw-ins in a game, 12 minutes of throw-ins.
Yeah.
50% of the time the ball is lost. A throw can open up a lot of ground on the pitch.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Just a lot. and it's great for a counter-attack to catch people out of play. So to say that
it's really good. You know, I keep bringing it back to Harry Kane. Harry Kane, if
you've got him on the brain. You were on about him earlier before we started. You just kept saying Harry Kane. We'll just hold our horses, yeah. Chelsea. Yeah. I saw a thing. I loved it. Did I send it? I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
He said,
where he said about
his developing style and the mental speed of the game. So possession, high speed of the ball, and mental speed is like what he's focusing on. That's his model to go forward. And he was asked, how did you figure this out? And his answer was he learns from all the lost matches.
All the lost matches, yeah. It's really
he's
good.
Such a dude.
Sarri. We keep saying about him, don't we? He's done quietly wonderful things at Chelsea. Yeah. Chelsea aren't getting the plaudits they deserve.
It's cracking.
They're playing good football, and they're doing it by playing Kante in a new position and dropping Hazard deeper. It's so weird, but it's working. Kante's being pushed forward and Hazard's being asked to drop deep.
Quick.
Yes. It's honestly, for someone who likes football tactics like me, it's fascinating to watch Chelsea.
Mindful footballer as well. We'll just hold our horses, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is Mitch's Championship Roundup Corner.
Yeah.
And we are sponsored today by Mr. Mustachio's wonderful pistachios.
Should you hand over to Mitch while we eat our pistachios?
So that's Mr. Mustachio's Star Choice Pistachios.
Let's hand over to Mitch.
Of all the performances on the weekend, Swansea's win at Millwall was the most impressive for me. Not least because they played pretty much the entire game with 10 men. Now, Millwall's home record is pretty impressive. They don't lose often at the Den. And Swansea, Baker Richardson sent off after 5 minutes of the game. Millwall went 1-0 up. Place where not many teams go and get a result. So I think that was my championship performance of the week. Not to be outdone actually, and perhaps just being pipped short because of the circumstances of Swansea's win, was Sheffield United, who after a bit of a tricky start have started to find some form. Beating Aston Villa 4-1 on the weekend. They kind of blew them away pretty early on, and actually I must say I thought Sheffield United might have a bit of a trickier season this time round, but they're starting to gather a bit of momentum, and Villa, who I think will be up there at the end of the season, were pretty much blown away in the first half. It was 3-0 at half time. Good to see Billy Sharp on the score sheet for the Blades. A bit of an unhappy return to Sheffield United for their old manager Steve Bruce. Elsewhere, I think West Brom continue to gather momentum. Another victory, 2-1 this time. I said that Stoke City might find it difficult this season in the Championship. I've seen nothing to suggest otherwise. They continue, I think, to struggle with life in the Championship. And West Brom, who are fairly free scoring, 2-1 victory. So as I said, I think West Brom will, out of those two promoted clubs, will have a much better season, and things are turning out that way as well. Sheffield Wednesday continue their resurgence actually, with a 2-1 win at Reading. I think that's 3 wins in a row now for Wednesday. So they're looking at Woodley Mobile as our derby. And Frank Lampard is starting to look like a pretty good appointment for Derby. They won 2-1 at Hull for the second time in a week, so I think they beat them in the Cup a few days before. And they too are looking up rather than down. And one final mention, Wigan have continued their good start to the season with a 1-0 win, albeit at home to Rotherham, who with all due respect, I think will struggle this season, but they are. Wigan have started really brightly and look like they're not going to be trying to stave off relegation as a few people thought they might this season. So lots of interesting results in the Championship this season, this weekend, and I think the table is starting to take shape. Obviously, with the Championship, putting runs together can be, especially with how thick and fast fixtures come, you can quickly change fortunes around. But it's interesting to see things start to take shape, and look forward to things reconvening after the international break. So that's the Championship corner on the road. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Mitch.
That's our Championship roundup corner.
That was a
Mitch,
good Championship roundup corner.
and our sponsor is...
Dinosaurs.
What have you learnt from Italy?
Mandzukic is superb. Matuidi is damn good as well. And that side cannot find somewhere to play Dybala. It's interesting that they can't find the place for him.
That's shocking. He was always on the right-hand side.
They're that good at the minute. You've got Ronaldo, you've got Mandzukic, and...
Do you think it's making Mandzukic really step up having Ronaldo there?
Yeah, he's played really well, but it's interesting that in the system that they're playing and the players that they've got and the ones that... Because they're playing Khedira, Matuidi, and Pjanic in the middle. That's their three. And then they're bringing on Emre Can. They're playing those three in the middle with Cuadrado at right wing back, which works. There's no player for Dybala. It's just mad.
That's silly.
Because they've got Sandro, they've got Cuadrado, they've got Costa, Mandzukic, Ronaldo.
Douglas Costa. That's power.
Yeah,
that is
so
absolute power.
Dybala is sitting on the bench because they can't fit him in because they've got Douglas Costa, Ronaldo, and Mandzukic. And then they're bringing on Bernardeschi and they're playing Cuadrado at right wing back.
Wow.
They're playing very, very good, Juve. Cuadrado, it's not like he just can't get in because he, has been playing rubbish.
My goal of the week in Italy.
Yeah.
One Fabio Quagliarella.
Yeah.
For Sampdoria.
Absolute rocket.
It was amazing back heel.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a back heel.
Absolute rocket. A back heel volley.
Yeah.
And no celebration.
Don't need it.
Don't need it with that. It speaks for itself. Should go to Spain.
Let's quickly go to La Liga because I want to mention how wonderful Gareth Bale is.
Yeah, let's go on then.
Gareth Bale is wonderful.
Yeah.
And he is on fire at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I hoping it's going that way of, actually, this is your time to step up.
Yeah.
And fill the void of Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, he's doing well. Who else is doing well?
Leo Messi?
Leo Messi's doing well. He's got first player to 150 assists in La Liga. Could have scored that trick.
Didn't want to, mate. Completed it.
Yeah, completed it.
So I said, yeah, all right.
I'll go on record now. If you still at this point think Ronaldo's better than Messi, you're wrong.
Well, it's going to be the age-old debate, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but Messi's better. Messi's better.
But...
If Messi is signed for Juventus...
Messi's going to finish off his career there, right?
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I think the only I can't imagine Messi being a... going back to Boca, sort of player. And just
maybe when he's 40.
I can't see it. I think that's what players like Tevez do and Maradona do. And Messi doesn't strike me as that. Messi strikes me as...
I think he's going to just tap out
on the top
here
in Europe, where, he's going to be playing week in, week out with great players.
All right, I got some other new stuff.
Are we staying in Spain or are we going to France?
Just staying in Spain, just briefly, just for a second.
Stay with us, folks. We're in Spain.
Because Barcelona also went a goal down in that game before absolutely just wrecking them.
Within 4 minutes as well.
4 minutes. You were sore. What's going
4
on?
4 minutes. I turned it on.
What's going on?
Saw the goal go in. I was like, this is mad. At the new camp. Then I didn't watch the rest of the game. I watched a different game. Turned back, 88 minutes. I was like, Jesus, it's 8-2. I was just,
crazy. They just slayed
him. I watched the wrong game.
Absolutely slayed him. Other stuff. Joaquin Sanchez was the oldest player to score in Celta Vigo vs Sevilla. He's 37.
Yeah, 37.
He's beyond evergreen.
He's beyond evergreen at 37.
Otherwise, we had Viticus have his head bitten in this when he's
There's
playing
a lot
second
happening
tier.
in Spain, isn't there?
Second tier head bite.
There's an awful lot.
I've never seen a head bite until then. It wasn't even like
it was.
If it's
it was
an,
like
if it's an ear or an arm,
yeah. Well, you got Suarez. You know,
be all over it, but
it's
on the back of the head.
It was like he was bobbing for apples. It was that sort of like.
I don't understand why.
He's good annoyed.
Yeah, why
We've
not?
all bitten people on the head. Come on.
We've all done it.
A lot happened in Spain. Can we?
Where do you want to go?
France.
Do you want to go France?
I want to go to France.
Then I got a question for you.
Monaco versus Marseille was my favourite game of the weekend.
What was the score in that game?
It was 3-2 to Marseille.
3-2?
Yeah, Marseille went 1-0 up, I believe. And then... it was Monaco went 1-0 up. Marseille then went 2-1 ahead. Then Monaco pulled one back, got it 2-2, and then Marseille scored. It was tale of...
Any prospects in Monaco?
They've got quite a few good players at the minute, Monaco. They've got a good squad together. But the player two players made a difference. One, the Marseille defenders couldn't clear a ball properly, and Falcao was in the 6-yard box. It's like, what are you doing? If Falcao is there in the box, you have to clear the ball, because otherwise he's gonna score, and he did. Torvin came off the bench for Marseille and changed the game. He scored.
He's performing.
Yeah,
absolutely performing.
He came off the bench and scored. He's continued his good form of
World Cup
season.
winner.
Yeah, World Cup winner.
World Cup winner.
Jazz, the World Cup winner. Buffon. He had a good. PSG had a great game.
Doff for cap. And so you just posted a little sex picture of.
Yeah, put one up on our Instagram.
Yeah,
because there's no reason for it.
That top looks.
Just put a picture of Buffon.
You don't have to explain
Neymar,
why you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Neymar as well. When they unveiled their fans, the opposition fans unveiled their flag, saying Neymar is a crybaby on it, and Neymar scores the opening goal and stands in front of the sign and pretends to cry.
This is a word from our sponsor.
Do you have a name? Is it the name you didn't want? Want to change it? Well, now you can. Gary's Name Change Store. Change your name to a name you wish you had.
Thanks, Mitch.
Okay, we'll see if we can get Mitch back.
Mitch is gone. Dinosaurs.